Feeling alright, yo! Feel like dynamite, Mike. DJ Flame, the DJ name. Wishing I could bring y'all that DJ game. But like I said, man, they playing the thing, man. I gotta get all that stuff back together. Hook all that back up. If you have not picked up your latest, any copy will do, from the year 1960 something. Right. Whenever they start, I forgot when they started. Muhammad Speaks. They started out Muhammad Speaks. I got this one, I think, more than likely, since I picked it up by Ibrahim. This was courtesy of probably Brother Grady Muhammad. A lot of people in the Miami area know him as the grant writer. Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey spoke on the fact that, well, at least NOI, the Nation of Islam, having circulation publications that put on record for the record, public record, call it that, widely accessible to the public. Let me fix that, right? I just saw something. Potential snafu there. A potential snafu there, but if I did this, what would happen there? Huh? Because the lens is right there. Shouldn't that be like perfecto mundo? So Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, I tried to memorize it. It slipped my mind. The announcement by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, page 20. What issue is this? Volume 44, number 50. September 22nd, 2025. Okay? Alrighty. Yeah, that's it. September what, the 9th month? 9 deuce. 11 days after 9/11. We have the publication, volume 44, number 50. The announcement, 40 years of prophecy, warning, and wise dome. Divine Wise Dome will be the name of this publication. Divine Wise Dome. And here it says the announcement, 40 years of prophecy, warning, and wise dome. Page number, did it say? See pages 3 and 16. More than a vision, 40 years of divine prophecy. Got to get out of Ebonics, get into standard English, or at least the Queen's English, spoken clearly. The divine experience of Minister Farrakhan cannot be ignored. Okay. And he shows you his signs, which then of Allah's signs will you deny. Holy Quran, Surah Ghafir, Surah 40, Ayah 81, they quoted that, and he begins and goes into it. Quite a few paragraphs there, and it's continued on page 17. I have not read this, and I'm not going to sit here and bore anybody to death reading it on this publication. I already have a problem getting people's attention with all my antics. But to read them to sleep, I don't think that's the thing to do. I say D2. This is the second time going through the alphabeto to designate the chronological order of the publication. So this one should be D2. Anybody familiar with supreme alphabet and the supreme mathematics would already catch on and know, right? Why I am saying divine wisdom. 2 is wisdom. Supreme mathematics. You gotta watch this grass, man. I saw 3 black, I think, and 2 brown desert brown snakes on the same location. This is a large location. Takes up several blocks in each direction. So I'm very, very uncomfortable. Our first two snakes I saw coming out some bushes too. I think those were black racer snakes. They are very fast. Quick as lightning. Probably a fraction of a second slower than a bolt of light. And a cat. So, I have not much to share from those publications. That particular publication I meant to say. And many of them lately, because I can barely handle what's coming out of the adept chamber. MOORS ordered a round table, right? And those crumbs from the master table, from the MOORS ordered a round table. Clock of Destiny Morals, CM Bay, under CM Bay's guidance, right? I quoted something, Grand Shake, and a few of those I just told you in a recent publication. I didn't get prepared. Last time I wrote it on the ground with a rock, on the concrete. The letters you can look under. It's quite a bit of information too. A lot of people probably didn't get to see what's already up there, even though they probably started to look and probably stopped at some point. Because this is reading. This type of reading here is not that pastime type of reading. And I hate to even try to quote some of that stuff. So I'm gonna just talk regular layman's terms and catch up where we left off without going too far into it. But at this stage of the reset, the powers that were and the powers that are being put into place in a de jure fashion, duly elected by those who are duly elected, whoever they are. Because the only way it could be a reset, there has to be people like General Ham and whatnot, if I'm not mistaken about General Ham. He was mentioned by Pope Francis in the Motu Proprio 2013/2014. So, as we have this changing of the guard, I would imagine, just as Chief Rod Pontiac pointed out, National Guard, for instance, Chief Rod advises us not to panic and go into riot mode when we see the National Guard being deployed in the streets. It's not martial law that we have been spooked about over the previous, like I said, decades, definitely it's about 2005. Yeah, they was talking about it like 2005. Martial law. So it's not quite like that. He was saying, Chief Rod was saying, they are here to quell anarchy, chaos, as the guard is shifting from the old guard under the dark priesthood, the cabal, right, to the proper, organic, major, autochthonous, duly elected to offices of the people, for the people, by the people. We have not had of the people, for the people, by the people for quite some time. We have heard people say that. And if we pay attention, many times it pissed off some leftist liberal perhaps, or whoever, talking to some government person, right? Being government only because they profess it out of their mouths and they have purported themselves to be this way to the people. But that power was not invested in them. It was wrested away from the people, taken into the hands of the few, who selected a few more and appointed a few more, and there you have those acting as government. Then you have the bar, the bench, same thing. Some of the most powerful people in the lands are those who sit on the bench. Some people will say, well, they have to be elected. Well, I'm not going to use this time right here to break that down and go into that. Right now, I won't say believe me. I say take note of that, and you do the research. Catch me on a rebound when I'm talking about that. Like I said, I ain't gonna say trust me or believe me. Do the research. Those on the bench are just as crooked and corrupt as those who sit on thrones, for the most part. These corporate war nation states, even those who were granted independence from colonial powers. If you listen and you watch, many times in the states, ABC, NBC, CBS type of thing, the media, you will notice without much ado, without much argument, that League of Nations, which became the United Nations, those type, Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard Nixon, Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, those types, in the world of administrators or government officials, quote unquote, of the corporate war nation states, who agreed, who were part of the League of Nations or the United Nations, that such and such, this individual in their party may be the house of such and such, if it's a monarchy, like Duvalier, baby the Papa Duck, Aristide, that type of thing going on. Not saying it's a monarchy, but it worked kind of like a dynasty for a minute, right? In effect. So in all actuality, would they have persecuted since the rebellion? Because Haiti never was thoroughly conquered and colonized. They attempted to colonize it, and Haiti fought back and won. But they had beef, and they got together and they punished them, not in international war court, they couldn't. They punished them by way of tariff and this, that, and the third, because they got together and said, well, you got to trade with us because we have most of the world under our foot. So all that international trade that comes to your ports by way of whatever mode of conveyance, we control what they were going to do with you. So if you pay the tax to what Napoleon Bonaparte, them, France, them, or whoever was in place by the time they started forcing that tax, Napoleon may have been still alive and in power. But they taxed them. And they have neglected that island ever since. That's why you got barbecue and all them right now going crazy over there, because the time calls for something to be done, and they all are at their wits' end as to how to do this with diplomacy, with tact. They about ran out of that. So all the Jean-Jacques Dessalines that's in the blood, in the DNA, the Toussaint, the Grand Toya, right, the Sidite Belair, that's in there, Martinier, it's coming out. It's coming out. Ah! Not quite the right way, but it's coming out. It's coming out. They demand change. But it's right on time. I would say it's hard to say anything because we're not there. It's like telling, I'm from Little Haiti. They turned my neighborhood into Little Haiti. Now it's called Little Haiti, I'm gonna go with it. My section is 5-3, northwest, just above the northeast side, Miami Ave divides. Shadalong. So you can't hardly tell us when the court might say one thing, The parents might say one thing. And some of the other family members that are peer group but not in the thick of things in that immediate area. So I got a partner named Bel Air. Call him by his last name. Chan Lo. Right? James O. God knew. See, these people have passed on. But when they were alive, what we would do is approach them. If we even cared to put our nose in the situation, and we would politely, firmly ask them, you know, what's the happenings? Why? Who, what, when, where, why? What's happening? What's up with that? And whether they want to respond or not, whatever, we take it from there. And it goes however it goes. Now, we all know at the park, we call it the park, it's Buena Vista Park. As I mentioned before, brothers from all over Florida was known there and welcomed there, and even out of the state of Florida, were known there and welcomed there, not necessarily native to Miami. We knew them, they knew us, right? That's within the county and without the county. So what would happen is more toward how culture freedom is supposed to be. We have court in the street. Many times since that part was a place of, we would convene. Many times they would time it right when both parties are present. They may approach both, may approach one. Ask, what's up with what happened to the, and see. Now that's closer to government of the people, for the people, by the people. I myself have had personal situations where I had to have court in the street. It's on right now, right here standing right now. It could happen to me right now. While I'm talking, somebody can interrupt my filming. It's not live, but my filming. And I deal with that, or I might stop the camera, whatever. Might let it keep rolling. So, in IAT, all that to say, I wouldn't say anything about what I heard on the news when I hear something that's been in me from as long as I could remember. I was born in 73, therefore, by the time I could remember, which is 2, 3, 4 years old, the only thing I saw was meetings in the house on 53rd. Brothers in suit and bow tie. Got a chalkboard up or whatever, a whiteboard or the green chalkboard up, and they teach it in there, right? Maybe film of the Black Panthers and people like that speaking. People like that, Stokely Carmichael, Fred Hampton, somebody like that speaking. Maybe Brother Malcolm, you know, most definitely the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the messenger. So now, I feel like a lot of this stuff is overdue, but at the same time, it's not. I feel like it should be more unity amongst these gangs. I feel like they should have gotten together at some point, because I know they probably watching TV, and now they see they on international news now, right? So I think they should pull together and try to find somebody more toward the top. You got the military arm of enforcement, and you have the diplomatic arm that can speak well, that can sit down with everybody and come up with demands for the corporate ward, nation state, not officials, but appointees selected. I forgot the name because Moise was assassinated. Martine's husband was assassinated. Moise, something like that. I forgot who's up now. Like I say, I got out of all this stuff and started focusing on my nationality. When I found out that they got all these tricks of the trade when it comes to proclaiming and declaring your status. It's been a saga, a labyrinth of a rabbit hole that I've been down since most definitely 2014-15 up in there. When Queen hawtyyyReddd, right? Kita something. I almost said all three things. hawtyyyReddd, Kita. Right? I almost said even the clan name. She got a clan name. Creek, Yamasi Nation. At the time, she was married to her ex-husband, King Coconut. And they interrupted the vibe of R&B was playing, and she cut that off and put on some Queen Valara Harabe. This is toward the end of 2014. I left Dr. Braithwaite, SB Holdings, like October. So this got to be October, November, somewhere up in there. I'm getting my locks twisted, right? Queen was the loctician. So that's when it started. And it started as far as me studying, because I did have a Nuwabian, Local 1416, Antonio, out the locks. But he always would say Sinetta TV. Check out Sinetta TV. He would, but he wouldn't go in depth. He used to tell me, go check it out. He'd say something. He would say something about Dr. York and Nuwabian, but not, he wouldn't try to, like he trying to pull me in or something like that. He showed his, I think he got light. That's another thing. I think he started out in the Masonic order first. That's probably why. They don't like to step on the Roman seal too much. They don't want to rock the boat. I said the Duke of Tears say if you want to teach and proclaim and declare and teach, there's a way you can get out of that contract of that oath you swore to the Prince Hall or Albert Pike or whatever Mason you in. I can't go there because I don't know the detail. But perhaps Antonio had not gone there. And he would still be holding to the fraternal order of the Mason. So, as I remember he was talking to another Mason, he was showing his light. He was showing this and that, pulling out all kind of proof of documentation that he has light, square and a compass, G. But he was a Nuwabian by the time I met. So, at the time, I was heavily into a lot of things. One of the things primed me for the Moorish Science Temple, which is the Nation of Islam. Then you got the studies I did, because I had started doing independent study. I was working on something called ... the Seekers of Light. But I got to get the light. That's why I named it Seekers of Light. Right? Not the light holder, not the lamp house, not the lighthouse and all that. I'm lost out here too. Not realizing they say that term, lost at sea. And a lighthouse is what I thought about as like a logo or something. But I'm like, I don't have the light. I ain't guide nobody beyond what they already know. Good sense God gave them. So I gotta do the work of getting this light. Islam led me to a lot. Studying Islam by way of Master Fard Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, Ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, beyond Quran and Sunnah, but that too. Many times I would reference the Quran because where I was, Islam was the fastest growing religion. Everybody professed belief in Allah and His Prophet. They have Quran and Sunnah. In both those texts, you find that these people had to actually stand up and confront government officials. So as I studied, I found more and more to go on my list that I had already of the things that many Muslims, the men especially, any of the women that tend to talk, to a congregation and whatnot, they were tiptoeing around some issues that the Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah said he did not tiptoe. And just like Musa, alayhi salam, and Harun, his brother, Moses and Aaron, they even had to pick up the sword and put some foot in behind, stomp down at the command of Allah Ta'ala. Any prophet of that time, which these two are prophets, so they didn't need, like Prophet Samuel was there for Saul, the Benjamite, Talut, alayhi salam, and Dawood, radiallahu anhum radu'an. Those, they had Samuel. Muhammad was the prophet, Al-Mustafa, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Musa begged for Aaron's help, but Musa, alayhi salam, was the prophet. They were prophet kingly. They tried to make Muhammad a king. He said no, because the compromise with him to stop preaching Jibril's language, Lugatut Tanzil, the language of revelation. Muhammad said no. You can have whatever you're trying to give me. Allah will suffice. I am going to Iqra to anybody who will listen. Whatever Jibril tells me, I'm going to tell the people. So now, I came across a publication that helped me a whole lot, because those were the areas I was hitting really hard in my little play cook bars or whatever I would have whenever somebody would question me, like Blood Child and people like that. They would question me, and I would come out the box with stuff like that, because in today's time, the Christian man, the Muslim man, the Jewish man, and all these men of faith, even the Buddhists and whatnot, the Taoists, they are expected to be a traditional man. And they are even punished, and they're socialized or anti-socialized because they won't take up the role of the traditional man. But everybody want to overlook the fact we don't have traditional communities, traditional families, or traditional rulership. We have a de facto rulership, and in that, and at that, it is not a good dictatorship. You can't have a good dictatorship for an interim period. This is a very bad dictatorship. This interim period that lasts quite some time. Over 2 centuries. I would say, or we're approaching that, over. Come 1900 and like 70, 80 something. 1970, 1980, maybe 1960s. That made 200 years from my studies of when they put a white face or Albion face on corrupt rulership and had the world thinking white power. The black hand, the dark priesthood in the background, underground, out of space, out of sight, like we used to say in the 60s and the 70s, out of sight. Yeah, man, that's out of sight. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the black devil is the worst devil because you can't see him, out of sight. So I came across a publication that ran a long list of infractions that deals with economy. If anybody studies activism the world over, you will see where they have the people on their knees, they have taken control of the resources. That's what money is all about. Money in and of itself is one of the many resources. Gold comes from the ground. Silver comes from the ground. Those are just 2 resources. The earth yields more resources that we will be able to study and discover in our lifetime. Any one individual person will never discover what this earth can yield and has waiting for us just to find it. But it's there. We go to college for years and years and years. 2, 3, 4 degrees, still dumb as a sack of rocks when it comes to this atmosphere, this ionosphere, right? When you get into physics, metaphysics, and the physical matter. In our scriptures, the divine said that this was created, this, which is one celestial body among countless celestial bodies. We are told in our scripture, the Quran and the Bibliothek, that this was created to be subservient to us. Master Father Muhammad revealed that we are gods. So now, the tail has become the head has become the tail, and the tail that has been told now is that now that is about to turn back around, and now the feet will be back on the ground, and the head will be above the ground. And we will now stand again as the promise, the pact made, the covenant made with Ibrahim, alayhi salam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The pact was that kingdoms and nations would flow from his loins. But the promise was only to those who would keep the covenant. So we have a situation here where everybody's allowed to not be in their traditional role, divine and national, except the man. And when we fall short, we the main ones in jail for child support, spousal support, not paying taxes. When we are not even a 14th Amendment person, that is actually a corporation, not flesh and blood, not a living soul or spirit, whatever you are. Now, yet and still, not knowing how to ex-rail from the Capitis Diminutus Maximus, not having a standing army, because a lot of times, many of us who do know how or learn how, like Dr. York, Jamal Rashad, Mumia Abu Jamal, or Angel Bay, or King Larry Hoover, still, Webster Moore, they beat him to death. And his last name was Moore, too. You got to look at that, M-O-O-R. That's one of the biggest secrets of the time, then and now. They assassinated the Moor Noble Jew Ali, Moorish Science Temple. The prophet named it that. Was that just one of the mistakes he made? And everything else is perfect? Who am I to argue? The Moorish Science Temple. Mur, right? Anyway, as men, we have always tried to do what men are supposed to do. The traditional man knows that no man is an island. No man stands alone. We all need each other, either black or white. You must should not be a rumble jumble like, boy. That's a tough sound, isn't it? Ding dong. Anyway, I screwed that up real quick. Morning rough, yes he tough, yes he dread. We can't do this alone. Hewers of wood, carriers of water. We work, a lot of us would love to work. A lot of the younger guys get in a lot of trouble because they have not been put to work the whole entire time when they should. I mean, from like 5, 6, 7, they should have been doing something. And where they could witness other things being done. So by the time somebody told them to do it, they would know exactly how to do it. Because they were there assisting someone who was doing, listening, watching. And couldn't wait to get a turn to change. Couldn't wait. By the time you grab that paintbrush or whatever it is, travel or whatever, they couldn't wait to get it. To show their stuff. That's how young boys are. The psyche of a young man, he can't wait to show everybody. I can do just like daddy. I can do just like granddaddy. But society wants to invade. We walk the path that they laid. I was talking to myself today about how, and I shared that with you all recently, that year, 2011 had just come in, therefore Asher Daddy Moran had just turned 10. No, 9. 10. 9 or 10. I mean, 2010 December. 2010 December just passed. So he turned 9. 2010. So now 2011 coming in January, February. So he just turned, in 2010, he just turned 9. He's a 9-year-old boy. Young man. I talked about the flashcards, mathematics, multiplication table, division, add, subtraction, blase square, that type of thing. The Aesop fables, like type of talks we having and all that type of thing. So now, in classic, true, new age, chick fashion, what I had been hearing since the late 70s, and definitely the 80s, the guys who at that point was about in their 30s and upper 20s, they would say little things about how they can't lay around the house like we can. They had to get out and get a job. Somebody had to get out the house. We still had some able-bodied American citizens walking around who couldn't get a GI Bill because when they served, they wasn't giving GI Bills out. You know, so now they start focusing on telling you things like, hey, don't be caught in no man's bed with his woman. Don't be quick to get married to no woman. Some of them go so far as to say, bees ain't SH, sugar, honey, iced tea. You know, you had that coming into play. I listened. Because the advice came before the evidence. Because we were still surrounded with, I ain't gonna say no name, but I know a lot of uncles and aunts and in-laws and neighbors. They were still living the life of an R&B record. Still. We were still having a lot of family reunions and all that. You still had that old matriarchy from back when times were much more solidarity. The very thing that built Rosewood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oscarville, places like that. That was still in effect. But what was happening was the powers that were being antagonistic towards us, misusing and abusing power. They were implementing legislature and just codes and ordinances and this and that, just to break it all down. Slowly but surely. Just taking away powers, putting up a lot of red tape and rigmarole you gotta go through to do this and that. And it was hard and harder to do what an illiterate person could actually be a patriarch or matriarch and really do the job of a patriarch or matriarch, hands down, no problem. And even outshine those who had been educated. 3, 4, 5 degrees. It was possible. And they were doing it. They were showing out. So I listened and I paid attention. One thing about the young girls, they were more easily influenced by the more brash type, fast mouth, rambunctious, rebellious, slick mouth type of sister. And the soap operas became more and more popular. The preachers were calling it the idiot, the good preachers, the good reverend. Well, I don't personally don't know nothing bad about these. I remember the sermons and all. It ain't what you hearing. It ain't none of this. I remember when the preacher didn't give a damn who walked out that door and never came back. When he simply said, "We living in Sodom and Gomorrah." And most of the congregation back then with the fans and the hats and the little veils, that's all your well, yeah. Somebody might catch the Holy Ghost just off of that. Be on the ground squirming, speaking in tongues, just off of that. Because they saw the signs which were in the scriptures that if you would go this way, we ain't talking about just no homosexuality either. The Bible cites a lot of things in there. The warmongering, bestiality, it's a long list. You talk about Jesus at turning over the money table. Ye have turned my father's house into a den of thieves. That one quote was replaced with Creflo Dollar talk, what they call prosperity preaching. Remember, Jesus was talking to the synagogue of Satan. quote unquote. Some scripture have his words in red. Can't miss it. He wasn't talking to Rome. Rome wasn't in power. They were doing what the CIA does, tactfully coming in to see if they would take some power. Turning anybody they could. Sadducees, Pharisees, Sanhedrin. Sadducees, Pharisees, Levites, who had so much power over the Hebrew Israelites, Canaan and Moabites, who were going here and there with the Ark of the Covenant, getting the promised land. After a time, and the promise had been made, and from the loins of our father Abraham came forth kingdoms and nations, they became corrupt. Tradition of the elders, the Talmud, that's not 10 Commandments. That's not early biblical according to the way they give it to us and force-fed us that. I'm not a Gnostic, so you got to forgive me on that. Because they're saying now that the Quran was actually written before the Bible. In the Bible we have King James Version, who was a homosexual himself, ... See, this more newer knowledge to me. I'm not a Gnostic, right? I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm not a zealot when it comes to Islam, right? But I'm not a Gnostic either. I'm learning things from that circle of Gnosticism, according to those people who publish that information or speak that information. I don't know hardly jack because I didn't do the research. I didn't get into a time machine and go to these places and see for myself and speak to baby Jesus, speak to the grown Jesus, and speak to Caesar and all these people. They talk, I don't know. So anyway, they place it upon us to be this man. So finally, I'm up in age, and a child is born. No state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind. And it is being placed upon my shoulders that the burden of fatherhood is mine. I didn't waste time. I'm from behind bars, through the bars. I'm signing the paper. The guys in the cell looking at me like, you ain't took no blood test, boy. I got it. We'll see about it. Right? Now, 9 years down the line, 2010 flows into 2011. I'm this close to being shot by a police officer, harmed in that condo by her son, who was like about 18, just graduated high school, right? Or even her. She might grab something. I ain't searched that whole house up and down every day, every hour on hour. You know, tell her what's in there. So I played it cool. All my shit, half my shit strewn all out there for the whole world to get if they want it. The other half still inside. I played it cool. I know it's nothing I did. You know, and the person doesn't have the emotional quotient, the intelligence quotient to just say to me, my mother, my brother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, they should know them all. Especially with social media out there. She in contact with all of them. Nobody has come to tell me that I was forced out for any particular reason. I thought I was basically commanded to stay, overstay my stay. That I intended to come by and just see, speak, haul ass back to Dade County. Handle my business. What year is that? That's 2010, toward the end, yeah. Commissioner done pulled his stunts. He done shut down, locking it down record. Should be, or it's about to be. I think that happened in 2010. Well, definitely, me and Wally were the last two in there that got put out. Mac and Slaudine stayed. Joe was buying into it to lease it, and then came Domingo, Cowboy, and all them. That's around that period, 2010. I forgot which month. So now, nearing the end, November, December, November is when I go to Coral Springs to pay my son a visit. Right? I have nothing really, no type of grind going on, whatever. The blade all effed up. They done knocked off Pimp Tone, Mink, Top Cat, Twin, all of them. So it's different out there. And I'm trying to stay away from all these new cops, new faces, because before they realize what I already know, vice will probably be all over us and narcotics and all everybody. We on the ground, stretched out, they going, and they don't even realize quite like it's just because I came around talking to them in their face and like it's all right. So I would avoid most of our spots where the peas used to be out there deep, from head to toe. Nigga might have a curly perm, ain't but 2 days old, in his head, all draped in all type of diamonds and platinum and gold all in his mouth. The type of people I was hanging with, shoes might cost more than the average person leaves for about 5 months. Yes, sir. We out there. Work down. Right? So I had to, every time I see something like that, look like they might be trying to, would be, could be, I cross the street. Head down, like I'm under instruction. Like I don't even see, don't even speak. That's how I came back 2008. Posing to be chosen. It just won't stop till a hole is calling me daddy and chasing me up the block, player wood. That's what I was on. On the tail end of what me and my peoples had going before I left. Problem 13 put out that Hustle and Flow. Southern Affiliate Volume 1. Wise Dread, Junior Bone, Baby 380, Lil Rah Rah, all us on there. Right? And I'm put out. It's all right. One problem. I'm gonna get back to Dade County with all my job that did come out there. I found a way. In the interim, I met Chopper Rhymes for the first time. Nahemian broke up. Ended up going to a video shoot on Hollywood, down there by Young Circle, right? Not too far from Young Circle. They had a video shoot. So things just kind of turned around in my favor anyway. And I had to let that, plus we had already touched on the fact that my son said himself he didn't like Dade County. He despises Miami. He don't like dirty, just crime. God forbid I insist he come and something happened to him under my watch. I said, okay. And he's sitting here telling me this. And it's that bad now. Children, just in the news, they suspended this boy. They expelled the boy who was in school, who saw a fellow student with a gun, and he took the gun from him. Threw the bullets away, took the gun so he couldn't be an active shooter. They expelled the hero. Go figure. So this type of stuff going through my head. A few years after that, not too long after, Nicholas Cruz, Marjorie Stoneman, Douglas High. These type of things started to be more prevalent than ever before. Kyle Rittenhouse, or whatever his name is. And they about pretty much pardoned him, right? So when he's saying this, we probably had the Trayvon Martin incident may have happened already. Tamir Rice, that may have happened. And they pretty young. He was like 9, so. And I'm thinking about the way they playing with me in Miami. I've been gone 23 months, that's 2 years. Bald head, sissy behind Magistrate, Magi, Peter Adrian. Right when we dropped that album. Ball so hard, motherfuckers trying to find me. Don't you know them? Don't you know what they stole from 2 years? The average quarter in the industry is 3 months. That's 4 quarters per year. So you talking 8 quarters. And I ain't been on nothing since then. 8 quarters. And I had a buzz out this world. We going out of the old school into the new. So people like Soulja Boy about to come out after that. So we pretty much on the old school. Problem 13 grinding that out the old school way. hawtyyyReddd, Junior Pong, all them killer, all them Jamaicans, saying all Jamaicans, Baby 380, all them. They grinded that thing out the old school way. Posters, flyers, you name it. Word of mouth, you name it. Radio drops, all this kind of stuff. Because internet wasn't quite like it had become soon after. He sat me down so I could not work my magic in the industry. As a maverick, indie label, not even locking it down. That was Crooked Path Productions and East Unit Productions. The productions was East Crooked Path, Problem 13. I'm East Unit, delivering nothing but bars. Word of mouth when I came back, because you know, a lot of times in your presence, especially in jail, a lot of dudes don't really want to express joy, love, and things like that, appreciation, because you might take it the wrong way. Other guys might take it the wrong way. They might have split somebody's shit. They just trying to congratulate you, not play. Hey, somebody take it around and turn to something else. So they're just, you know, plus they don't know me like that. I didn't do too much time that time around with too many people I knew. I met a lot of wonderful new people, but not too many people that I had already known. Therefore and wherefore, in all fundamental fairness. On the street, Problem 13, ball so hard, hand-to-hand combat, selling CDs. Hustle and Flow, he called it. The movie had not just too long come out. That might have been titled Hustle and Flow, I'm not sure about that. But that movie had not too long come out. He called that CD Hustle and Flow. That's before ATF and all them cracked down on the bootleggers and the guys who was selling porn, on the DVD porn, DVD movies, bootleg CDs of R&B and rap and all that. They hadn't cracked down on that yet. The Fed gonna get involved in that and crack down on them too. Problem 13, they couldn't touch him because he made that. So now, Peter Adrian took me off the street for 2 years. They locked me up in November 2006. I get out October 2008. Renee Palomino is my state appointed private attorney at law. Esquire, who was supposed to help me appeal this and fight this or whatever. I pled no contest. Many times you plead no contest when you know you can be released because the stint in jail is holding you up from business you need to take care on the street. Then you got family. You know, you got all these circles of life that where people are needing you in your absence is causing a great problem in the free world. You can do a plea of no contest so you can get the habeas corpus, releasing of the body, the flesh, into the free world so you can get to work. When I came back, Problem 13 was just coming back 2 times. Yeah, went to bought a house in Georgia. I think Stone Mountain. That's the courts. That's the police department and the courts. Why? because these are the people who had the agreement, the convict lease system and all that, with the major companies, corporations, the music industry being one. Most of those moguls that own a music label own a lot of other shit too. And they've been watching me. They got their little minions on the street, what they call ear to the street. Unsigned hype, Source magazine type of information, it goes to the top. They know I'm the sugar honey iced tea. Child, better ask somebody around here. Okay? I've been the muse for decades. On top of decades. They are now lifting the skirts of many of these people who are actors, who receive a role, a screenplay script they didn't write by somebody they hardly even know. And the Singleton brothers tell the selected from the casting, play the part of Kane. You be old dog. I'm trying to say old dog real name. All right, you be Jada Pinkett. Jada Pinkett played, yeah. Jada was, yeah. You be Pernell. And you know, MCA. Oh, MCA won his first acting gigs. Too short. You be this yeah. But nobody is talking about the litty, in real time. Where they getting this lit from? Because you don't see it as lit. You looking at the script. You looking at the movie. Matter of fact, I don't even think they had no crippin' in there too tough. No blood and crippin' and whatnot. Right? Wasn't heavy on that. Little something, something. They had a red car on Boys in the Hood with a double-barrel shotgun that shot Ricky. That might be Pyru or blood maybe. But they ain't throw too much signs and claim too much set, too tough. Too tough. But it was some GA and some Miami lit up in them. In the movies that inspired them to say, okay, so we don't get sued or whatnot. We're going to change the names of change to protect the innocent. And we're going to go way over here where Freeway Rick Ross at. And don't go down there with Isaac Hicks and Slim's Old West Sr. I refuse, boy. We know, because they going to say we biting off their life. And we took this down. We going to switch it around and boom, we going to package it like this. But Atlanta is the mecca of hip hop. 1990, 89, 88, 87, 86, on into the 90s. 85, 84, 83, 82, on into the 90s. Till you got Y2K. Partying like in 1999. What Prince predicted. Come 1999, couldn't party quite like they used to party. I know that much. Come 1999, like I say, Rising Star Production, Amazing JC, all these people in Miami who knew what I was doing. Those who became Icon Music Group, namely Gorilla Tech and Track, who knew for a fact, because my brother Wally, my cousin, baby boy, had me in their face. Miami Mac done came out, Brooklyn's done hit, Brooklyn's on TV now. On video mix, whatever. Free and AZ and Free with AJ and Free and all them. All that there. Tick in the Basement, all that there. They know what it is. And for years and years, up to my decades, I didn't realize that that boy who formed Bad Boy was one of the main people. Yes, he was. I'm going to tell you why. Because they knew what happened to EKG Records and a lot of other record companies, native autochthonous to South Florida, right? A lot of them went down. like this, behind these here. Rayford. Places like that. Belgrade, Rayford, shit like that. Because people like Puffy and Jay-Z would come to town and they would put on for their city. Because influential people like that, they want to be the one they come to and they say, come up on our wing. We got security, we got housing. You don't need to pay for a hotel if you don't want to. So everybody competing to be the one, Biz Markie or Big Daddy Kane, somebody, Tone Loc, whoever in town, Young MC, getting them dollars to perform on stage before huge crowds at the Orange Bowl Stadium and places like this. In the melee, people like Jay-Z, according to what the streets are saying, people like D. Haven, one of his ace Boone Coon, right-hand man, Sean Puffy Combs, according to New York, not me, Manhattan, Harlem, Queens, Brooklyn, all that, Bronx, they saying it, not me. That they are known for selling you up the river or down the river. Mississippi, to exact, where that term came from. The slave narrative was told in reverse. We were not brought from Africa. If anything, we were shipped to Africa. Or up or down Mississippi to take us out of our environment so we wouldn't know how to get around and we'll be more likely not escape the Bonneville, which was transferred into plantation. What we know as plantation slavery. The matriarchy turned on his head. Prince Hall Masonry, rise up, 360 level, 720 cycle, that's swept under the rug. You are no longer to learn the science of business, mating, and warfare, breeding, ... So here comes the hand-picked Mullion in charge. My dog used to say, big heads. He used to say, I make big heads. He used to coach and train guys in the street, young guys, how to do it better. Before you know it, man got all type of money. When you visit him, that man got money. People all in the area screaming his name. He said, I make big heads, I make big heads. So the Mullion in charge coming like a poacher of human beings, handing over information to the authorities, those who have wrested authority from those who had the power invested in them when they told them step down or die. 1860s and 70s. Stop that, I say. Stop it, I say. Stop it, I say. So according to the streets, I'm just echoing the streets. I ain't starting no misinformation or information. We just keeping it straight, breaking it down to its very last compound. See how it sounds? A little unrational. A lot of MCs like to use the word grammatical. Fresh for 2025, you suckers, suckers, suckers. So now, all the Miami DJs now, round about my age and older, they online talking about it now. About what this thing used to do. When we used to have them walls about 4 times this height. 3 times that height. Right? Half a block long, cock strong, half a block long. Illy ill fire starter hitting harder than King Kong. As a matter of fact, shit. Not a battle act, not running the mill, not easily knocked out or easily killed. I'm hard rock from the hard rock town. I gotta shit, I break it on down. Yes, sir. So things begin to happen and only certain ones emerge. Blasé has emerged because they signed into certain one CEOs here and there who have maintained through order throughout the chaos. Some way, somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky ass shit like every single day. May I inform y'all that a lot of my bars were rehashed and reused, some of them bitten straight out. Flow, style, whatever. Swag when it comes to clothes, and a lot of stuff that happened in the streets to me first in real time. Next thing you know, a year, some months, 3 years later, it's a popular artist got the same scenario happen in their life, and they blow that all up, giving them more street credibility because they got to get to the street. What's popping? And it's a tough job because a lot of real ones ain't telling jack nothing. Zero conversation. Omerta. That's what's really happening. Omerta. Right? Up yours. Right? Pleading the fifth. Miranda right. Taking advantage of Miranda right. Miranda. Don't ask me about that Amanda. Oh, Amanda. Miranda. Now, so these guys, and I mean guys, spelt like a lot something else. Not like something else. Fugazi, who got the contract, who got the deal to get up there and display skill. But then now you got this thing where I talked about that, so I don't want to explain it this time. But the convict lease system is wrapped up in that. The major labels, they want some guys who really can fit the mold of a convict. If you're talking about robbery, have you got a charge for robbery? You want to talk about murder? You ever been charged with murder? You beat any murder cases? Now, mind you, we still in a time period when guys were doing like 2-3 years on the murder, 4 years, and beat the case. That's what we call riding out. You might have got locked up with no bond or just didn't pay the bond, but did your legal work. Bam, we say bam in Miami, bam. That means you beat, you won, no charge, right? Fuck you, Your Honor, check my persona, do what I wanna. Quiet as kept. We still in that time period. So now, me and Slimzo come out in 91. A lot of people ain't out. And that particular style, a lot of people in the South call it chopper style. Nobody doing that at all. We drop. I put a taste of that in there. Down the line, Mr. Man, Spice One come out, whole entire album. Put us on the map, meaning anybody in that genre and rap itself. That was a statement at that time. Not only is it a good album, it did a lot for our type. Established something. This is talent. This is business and big business. Spice One said it got to a point he had made at least 11 million for his record company. They wouldn't give him X amount of hundreds of thousands or 80-something thousand or 100,000, something like that, to pay off his house. Type of devils we dealing with. And now recently, Freeway Rick Ross' mother's house was just lost to like foreclosure, something like that. They don't really care about us. So Dallas Effects around that same time. They want effects. Large effects. Snapping necks for some. Woo! Hey! Me and Rico Maxwell done met. Tony McCann introduced us. He was standing in the back. Alpine, King Glenn. Rico was in apartment C. I was in like B. I forgot Tonio letter. He way in the, but he like Z. Way back by the woods. Me and Rico used to go to his, I used to go to Rico crib before I go out with him. Or I pass by his crib to go to work. Depending if I had day shift or not. I go to his crib, we been there. Rico be just getting his shit together. His shoes, his shirts and all that. I'm already dressed. Come over there to wait for him to get dressed. Bum. He ironing his shit, playing music. When that came out, I would listen to Money Gone, and they wanted facts. As long as it took him to get, he could take his time. That was my wake up. And we'll hit the streets. Bam. 93 gonna come in. That's 92. 93 gonna come in. This around the time when Mary J. Blige, we gonna hear from her. She's still dealing with, I think, Uptown, but she gonna make that transition to Bad Boy, I believe. I looked this up. I'm not, don't quote me on none of this stuff, but it's in the area of this, what I'm saying. Andre Harrell, Uptown, then Puffy gonna establish Bad Boy. Around 94, I think. If not 93. And then we're gonna start hearing from everybody like the ones we heard from first. Craig Mack, 1,000 degrees. You be on your knees begging, burning, begging, please. None of how to get. Right? Biggie Smalls gonna come out with that first album. I ain't like too much. Give me the loop, I'm a bad boy. All that. And of course, Mary J. Blige. Them like the first three I remember. And everything else gonna start to flow after that. Now, mind you, the way the industry work, they got their ass on their shoulder. They think it's all about them. They just swear everybody come crawling like the man across the hot desert sands to the oasis, you know, thirsty for what they got going on. I ain't never seen Hollywood display badder chicks than the chicks I was seeing every day in the neighborhood, on the bus, at the train station, at school, at the club, not even the strip club, shouted, just the club, period, with clothes on, fully clothed, bad. We talking 1991, 2, 3. Funky Fresh Crew, the little baby, I almost said 2 Live Crew, the baby, Down by Law, individual who was a part of Funky Fresh Crew at one time, the hip hop jive. They getting down, 88, 89, 90. Definitely 91. 88, 89, 90. Come 90, 91, I'm almost back in Eastwick. I'm across the street. Kings Glen, that's Alpine. Kings Glen. I meet Rico. There's a lot of people coming in and out of my life too, who I don't know. They're not even from the state. See, that's how information gets out of the fold into the broader community. They actually seeing bird's eye view. Ooh, go ahead spitting. Walking long way to a fucking dead end, but you're yellow. Coward Hall, better get some more. They'll find out. Fucking with the real. G-code like a mug, so it's been times I almost went to prison because of that, but that didn't happen. Alhamdulillah. Information gets out. So before Bad Boy and Puffy, the industry, then there's certain things coming out. I'm a hot topic. All it takes to say what will you say? What will you say? Something. You gonna drop it, you gonna drop one, some shit. We say that means go in the studio, make a song, and put it out to the public. You gonna drop, you gonna do this, you gonna do all that kind of stuff. Right? My answer was always yes. It's the DJs and the producers that turned that to a waiting game. Meantime, I'm on the grind. Now, because I stay in Alpine, get up, get out, see what's up. I found out. Around this time, I Refuse boys gonna get in a lot of trouble. Somewhere close around this time. And it's quite a few other people at that time, specifically, bigger than the I Refuse boy, already established people, they get knocked off going to federal penitentiary. Me, DeAndre Stevens, Slick Larry, people like that, we out there talking about that. They doing the talking, I'm listening. I'm being raised by my hood. Okay, here we go. Another adjustment, yet another adjustment to make to our grind if we want to stay out, stay free. So we had our version of balling that year, 92 and 92. It's 92 now. Niggas scared. They know I ain't nothing to be fucked up with. The closer you is to me, the more you know. It's a good chance by the time you know it's shit fucked up now, cause the police looking for somebody who murdered somebody. They with a fine-tooth comb cause they don't know who did it yet. And if they know me like they think they know me, they'll never find out from my mouth. It's gonna take forensics, eyewitnesses, anything but this here. They just don't know. If they fucking with me, they just don't know. Nigga should have told him something too. Nigga key my ass should have told him something. Cause he probably heard the nigga say something. Probably just didn't know he was that stupid though. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, in my mind, money and the power. Brad Jordan. Money in the put, a minute to pray and a second to die. Ain't no 5 prayers a day for me. Sooner and farted my ass, I'll make a dua here and there. Every time my eyelash back, that's a subhanallah. That's a alhamdulillah. That's a Allahu Akbar. I ain't even got time to stop and do it. If I'm doing it, I'm counting some money. Probably from contraband. Now. And I'm just about whatever, show. Even though I had to kick in the door to go get mine. Might owe me, might not. But I am old. We still reeling from YBI. My dogs out there getting they straight now how they want to get it. Got a job. Such and such went to the military. Woo, they getting it how they say get it. You know, woo, woo, woo. I'm getting it how I get it. And I keep having to cut people off. Because I come back round the way and other people who was not with me on particular missions come telling me my business. What these people doing telling me my business? It ain't even 48 hours, 72 hours. Now I gotta stop introducing myself to certain type and walking up even around certain type of people. I gotta start avoiding my type of person who ain't really sat down and really tried to do nothing, because now they slowing me up like big time. Because now, any day now, detectives and whatnot to come looking for me, there you go right there. Whoop, whoop, rope us off, search everybody. Easter egg hunting. So now, that's slowing that down. That's the best way. Fast forward, January 93, Hurricane Andrew just came to Florida, came back again. 2 times. I come in town. And all that talk up there about me, They know I got the skill. They know I don't need no ghost riders and I don't need none of that. A&R, I don't need none of that. I need a microphone. But you know I say all I need is one mic. That's why. And one mic dead. At my hands. What's on my mind. It's gonna stay on my mind. I ain't sharing speaking my mind to nobody. Then you got other shit. I'm trying to parlay and play in the pocket. Somebody might come tell me about this person and that person been laid to rest. I lost a lot. Even back then, we were losing them. Cherokee, you know. The people here and there. I still ain't heard who did it to them people. Some of them people. So I'm playing my role, playing it, staying in pocket, hoping I be with them in that number when the Saints go marching in. With that Sith and the Grim Reaper. Come to take life. Right? Waiting. Ain't much debating. Now, I come to South Florida. Soon after I touch down and announce I'm living here for real and make a good show of it. I ain't calling home to mama. I'm starving, I'm hungry, I'm broke. Daddy won't give me no money. When can you fly me back? I catch the Greyhound, mama. Every day I come out the house, store a Kid Roy, war song of a poet. And they know it. They know what's up. I ain't going looking for no job. I ain't ghetto macking begging no bitch for nothing. But my dogs will look out. Baby boy, sometimes you ask his mama. Or his grandmama, Ola May Marker, fix a nice little plate. Cut me something. She always had a cake, some type of coconut cake, pound cake or something. Had a cover on the top, so nothing won't get in it. Big old porcelain, heavy porcelain cover that looked like a cake. You lift it off, it was brown. You lift that off, it's a cake, right? Coconut cake, pound cake or something like that. Upside 7-Up cake, shit like that. Walk out, lay that job on soul food plate. I might go down to ADE house. If I don't eat out the fridge, out the stove, we go to Esther somewhere like that. Big old, I'm gonna be straight. Wouldn't even ask for no cash a lot of time. I'm at the house right up the street. That's the hotel, bed and bath. A block, 2 blocks down. I can eat. I can sit in the shade up under the trees at the park and shit. That's the AC. A lot of people must have AC back then. Right? I'm straight. Right? Park, thick. I know I'm hot too. Park, thick. If I find somebody like right time, right place, right time, think I'm talking about the right type of thing, boy, I'm in the car. On the cape. Coming back with much flow. That's all I'm thinking about. Meantime, between time, grind. Right? Get on the grind. Find a spot in the bush for something like a 9. Earth tenor. One of the first one to hand me a gun like this in my hand. He did that in the 80s. Way back in the 80s, like a shotgun. I think it was a shotgun. He come and give me a big ass assault rifle. I'm in the cut. Right? I used to wear the Jason mask behind my head. I ain't got no car. Then hanging on the rearview mirror. I used to wear the Jason mask backwards, like this. The hockey mask, glow in the dark. Go in the park, cop with fast, shot with blast, got one, blood bad the aftermath, piece of these you rather have, 2 to 3 shatter glass, either or, defeat you in the war, proceed to go on towards Pantee for shore to shore, exotic hordes, trillion, Brazilian, Sicilian, I bomb the village anytime I have to kill again. I bring the pound down, the whole compound to go to lockdown. So we the reason why the G's be hollering Glocks down. Yeah. Fuck a block, I take it down, climb around and shake it down. Shock a sound, drop it down, constantly rock a crown, throw it up. Like your ass on gin and juice. Call it Earl, except these niggas call it truce. POWs captured by the man at arms. Soldier force on, someone must have run the lawn. Better hope the cop comes, that's the only way I stop. Put Glocks up and pour the gin and juice up out my cup. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Who am I? I'm the one, my mama's son, my papa's son, always got the gun. On GP, posted with the hockey mat, that's where that came from. Glow in the dark, go in the park, cop fast, shotgun blast, got one, bloodbath aftermath, piece of these you rather have. 2 to 3 shatter glass, either or, defeat you in the war. And I mean that shit. Speaking for me and plenty enough others, a lot of still alive right now today. I could take you through some dark times and episodes, but we gonna take this thing slow road. So I'm posted. On the grind. Earth gave me that chopper one day. I took the hockey mask and put it on right. That was my first post. My first armed post that night. And I held it down till it was time for me to go on and lay low for a minute. Ended up in like Lake Lucerne. But like I said in the previous post, I couldn't sit there to watch my nieces and nephews stomachs splacking their back while I'm eating like the only thing left in the house that I had to find shit and put together. Flour, baking powder, anything to put some more weight on it. Water. I might have had a little cream. Might have had to run the water from the sink into the cream and shake it up. Y'all know, you know the struggle. If you know, you know. Government ain't give out no more powder, milk, and block cheese, government cheese. But you got a little cream in there with it. Buck up the 2 holes at the top. Might be something in there, I can't remember the exact ingredients. But it's something like you're baking some type of something, more like bread. I ain't putting a whole lot of sugar. I was ready to eat. I want some salt, pepper, and shit. I made some bread. Couldn't even eat it. Looking at my niece and nephew. Pretty much gave them the whole. I might have had a piece, but it wasn't enough for me to get what I want. And that'd be fucked up. So I let them see that they getting it to split up bunny. I made sure they split it. So here I go. Tony the mom word to see you. He back in jail. Got picked up for a warrant. Ride with ADE. He had a warrant. They took him down. That's the only handgun we had too. Cook, God bless the dead Cook, got the AR-15. It's all right. I slide 2 Ave territory. 83rd, 21st. Brother-in-law ain't home yet. Ain't nobody out. I go to the tree. I go back to the house for something to pee or something, do something, get something to drink or something, jungle juice or something. Brother-in-law coming from the south. On the sidewalk, 2 Ave. Hey, boy, Jamil. Hey, that. He telling me what the haps is. Rod birthday on my birthday. Rod coming through. We gonna celebrate our birthday together. All right. I go sit down at the tree to wait. Then I thought about, well, let me go on and come back. Officer Hine jumped the curb. Boom! I'm thinking a whole bunch for the come the way he jumped that curb. I see that. He jump out. Fix his shit. I think he finna pull out. Tell me, come here. I walked up to him. Got his on his so close till he could rock back on his heels and relax. And get out that starter position. I took off on his motherfucking ass. No, this ain't nothing but a jackrabbit tail. I'm gone. Bang, yang, yang. 40 going north. I think more like 45. The speed of a cheetah meter. Y'all think I just be wearing this shit? Just be wearing this shit. look at here. I was gone. I ain't weigh about 148, 146. Definitely no more than 150. In a wing. At this moment in time, May 18, 1994, Sundog got, I want to say Lil Joe Records. It might not be Lil Joe Records. Sundog got home team. That's Debonair, formerly of Poison Clan. Two Low Life Mothers is the album he was on, the first debut album with JT Money. Now he home team with, I think, Drugsy. I think it was. Madball Steve stayed with Luke. Jeff stayed with Luke. Uzi, Ram, all them. They still with Luke. Sundog, brother, Sweets, is the one Slick Salt Records CEO has stepped to put me down in the game, put me in the studio. See, they say he can, cause Slick ain't really hear me. He listened to Cherokee Chris and all them, ADE, right? Billow. See what he got. You think they don't know that? Luke Records was the biggest record company, rap far as rap go, in Miami for a long, long time. To like Slip and Slide. If you wanna say Slip and Slide, which I say is a subsidiary, basically, of Luke Records. You just get high at all, you know. So, and they know Miami Mac could not be held down. He already out like not 2 years in the game now. They came out like 92. So he got a year in the game already, signed Wild Pitch Records, him and Shamik Phase 2, Broken English. So they know them boys serious. They ain't just saying that, them boys serious. Right? Mac been paving the way since the 80s, like the mid and early 80s. From the pause tape days. From the component set. One turntable attached to tape player on it, and pause that jive. And put whatever, change the spot or put another record on. He's way back there. Right? Oh. So they know, them boys pretty much serious. They're serious about what they doing. Soul Messiah, Atlanta chapter Zulu Nation. They know about all this. They know. And when you in the industry, when you find yourself in a position where they padding your pockets and now there's weight on your shoulder to deliver and carry through, you will have your ear to the street. You will have talent scouts. And you will bite like E motherfucker. You will contract with people and breach contract. You'll do all that. They say Puffy, Freddie P, make another band out of Miami, Liberty City. The Bean, well, I know him from the Bean, Poker Bean Project. Rapping at the Poker Bean Project, battle rap, with all the jits and all the young adults, right? He say what was withheld from some of that alumni of making another band was to the tune of $40-something million. Children had put their lives out there. That can be very traumatic too. If you're not equipped up here and here, that stardom. And messing with Puffy, Bad Boy, by the time he did make it to the band, we talking 2001, baby. 2001. You talking stardom. Bad Boy Records alone was pumping out mega hits, back to back. Oh! People like Lil' Kim doing collabs. Oh my God. Fire! Aya! In the real world, the people see him, especially in the New York tri-state area. They see Kim and Foxy running. They see all that stuff sensational. Especially back then. It's just feeding the fire. Right? So, like I say, the landscape had already begun to change. 1998 in Miami. Operation Green Palm, politicians. Same people who gave Puffy the key to the city. That circle. Headers on the dock. Longshoremen, headers on the dock that deal with the cargo ships and the cruise ship going down. Operation Green Palm. That's 97. Soon, the local policing agencies, inquisitionist agents of Rome, are going to get the green light from many churches, mom and pop stores, community organizers and whatnot. They just go and snatch these niggas off the street. When they put the case up where the warrants for Towners, Booby Boy Gang, and the John Doe Gang. From the Keys, South Miami, to county line, and Broward was not acting too much different. Broward County, Palm Beach. Now, if you know, you know. When you talk about the Miami Sound, take me a seat right quick, get off camera. The Miami DJ Sound. By 1997, you know, the whole Florida on board. What Kaya from? What Plies from? You know, the whole Florida on board. Talking about jamming, catching it? What? They've been on board since the 70s and 80s. So, you know, Tallahassee, Orlando, places like that, that's where these big acts gonna stop. Big time. Because they the big headliner act. They ain't doing too much hole in the wall club. So all y'all guys out there itching to be seen and known and da-da-da-da, a lot like UBN. I touched on it. I did. You sound like a broken record. I sure did. A lot like UBN. Jamal murder all the mofos with Tekashi 6ix9ine. That main, he was like the leader too. Of not UBN, but the particular sect that was on the street in that area. I think that was a New York area. I think that was New York blood. I forget. So, dude got Tekashi 6ix9ine. Mind you, Tekashi 6ix9ine got rainbow colored hair. Okay? Sometimes he put pink off in there. He got this man in the passenger seat and whatnot, riding around, seeing all these exploits that have nothing to do. See, that type of behavior, I'm going to stop that right there. That type of behavior right there, back in the 80s, mind you, in the 90s, is what led to a lot of CEOs and record companies in South Florida never seeing quite the light of day. We know, we love and know a lot of that, but it didn't get out of the area. It's a lot of that. Artists as well, but you had CEO grade people. Jeffrey Tompkins, JT Money. We talk about, he was doing an undeniable campaign. He talk about, man, JT say, man, if I had $1, every nigga came up to me and said, man, I wish I would invest in you back then, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, a lot of them type who wasn't just jiving might not invest in Jeff, but what they did, they circumvented Luther Campbell. A lot of money came to Luke, and they wouldn't deal with Luke because Luke is Luke. You can't turn Luke into Luke / this and that. So they realized, well, let me just go be a CEO of my own company. Now, many of these guys failed. Sweets was my first personal choice for the simple fact I was just tired of looking, waiting, and searching, and anybody talking positive on, you know, on that level. I gotta look into this, man. I ain't got time to wait. I'm already behind schedule, man. I supposed been out there before I ever heard Juice Crew. I mean, for real. I go way back. So now, like I say, the streets is talking. I'm just the echo. And the streets are saying that Jay-Z, Sean Carter, and Sean Combs, SC, is the initials for both. Sean is spelled the same last time I checked. I think it's SEAN, or is Jay-Z SHAWN, SHAUN? I don't know, I gotta check that out. He might be a different spelling of Sean, but it's pronounced the same. Right? In Chinese or Japanese, one of the two. Shun is spirit. Is spirit. Right? And the spirit moved over the deep. Again, it was the word. The word was with God and it was God. The spirit moved over the deep. Something like that, man. The word. Right? I ain't looked at the Bible in a minute now. I remember about some spirit and some word. It moved over the deep. About some deep shit. Deep cover. That slow shit. 187 on the undercover cop. Fuck around. Y'all niggas better tighten up. These niggas done got together. Infiltrated by every clique known to mankind. Man and mankind. And have become, according to the streets, confidential and reliable sources of information. That's the informant delivers the information. Now, in the streets, now you got something called G code too. So if we was on code, that would help a lot. But when the deepest, it is what it is. When they say deep code, so you got to be on your P's and Q's as far as how these Florida state statutes work. These little loopholes you may find in the law or whatever. You know, you feel like, well, if he is like, you know, say for instance, wearing a wire. Well, how are you talking? You don't know how to not be a blabbermouth when it come down to, well, what if somebody wearing a wire? You don't know how to, so you got to think about that. Do you want to keep going on continuing with your exploits if you don't know how to operate? Because a lot of us, it seemed, I just seen a clique got taken down in Ohio. I think it's Ohio. Ohio's the state, right? Not a city. I think it's in that state of Ohio. It's a nice sizable clique been taken down. They show a whole lot of guns. I don't know if there was actually a clique or just a whole lot of people in that particular sting operation in that area. But it's a whole lot of individuals, mostly male primarily. And they had a name, first and last name, middle initial, and all that kind of stuff. And a whole heap of firearms. And of course, Schedule 1, 2, and stuff like that. Contraband, illicit street, ... So now, back then, you know, you didn't have as much at their disposal that we knew of. Right? The 00 agents might have had, but average guy didn't know about the internet and stuff, cell phone and stuff. But you had the wire, you had the phone tap, you had the bug, and you had the informant. You had the undercover cop agent who was just doing his job. You just dumb and just rushing and shit. So, you know, now, okay, now fast forward to right now today. Think about today. Now let's rewind it back with Sean Puffy Combs, which is coming on the scene. Don't you know that they flocked to Sean because most labels was player haters when it came to hardcore rap? You got to think about it. The artist was getting flack from the very label that put them out. Like, why would you even sign me? And you knew what I did. Too Short, Ice-T, Ice Cube, they all went through this job. The parent label for Rap A Lot, they all went through this. Man, you know what we do. What you mean? It got the sticker on it, man. Parental advisory, da-da-da-da-da. Still getting flack. So in that climate, a lot of people were strong. Some people say strong as pot ass. It was strong as pot ice. Strong as pot ass, man.
they got knocked down and they still behind. A lot of them are still behind bars last time I checked. Which my last EOS was 2008. And the old school still talking along them same lines. So D2 is fitting, divine wisdom. The righteous divine nigga itching to put my knives in the spine, he's out of line, nigga. We must exercise wisdom. I'm gonna say that. We must exercise wisdom and put our faith in the divine. Hopefully, right, inshallah, this is actually the reset, and we will actually be vindicated and whatnot, and the republic will be stand on its feet, and that flag will fly again. The cherry tree, you know, and the Dixie flag is ours. Hopefully the truth will be promulgated once again, and we can come out of darkness into the light. Signing off. Islam Moors. Active Moors, more active. This should be D2, divine wisdom.